Welcome to Politics News Wolf US channel. The clashes in the Russia-Ukraine war continue with increasing intensity. And this war, military personnel are as important as equipment and ammunition. Before moving on at detailed examination of the military units, fighting in the Russian and Ukrainian army, let's talk about the conflicts in the war zone. Because the year 2023 started with very fierce clashes. The Russian army suffered huge losses at the beginning of the new. Ukrainian troops continue to make history with successful operations. One of the most important developments in the first days of the new year was the operation of the Ukrainian army in Zaporizhzhia. In this region was the most important headquarters of pro-Russian Chechen troops. Many of Chechen leader Cairo soldiers were serving in this headquarters. Part of the headquarters was also used as an ammunition depot. The Ukrainian Air Force blew up this headquarters in a successful operation in the first days of the new year. The Ukrainian army had made serious preparations before the new year. Many occupation zones and their bases, headquarters, assembly areas, and ammunition depots were identified as a result of the successful tracking of Ukrainian intelligence. These targets were hit, marking the beginning of several days of attacks. One of these targets was the Chechen headquarters. The headquarters in Zia was hit with HIMARS and missile systems that the Ukrainian army deployed in many regions before new. In the church headquarters was hit by a succession of explosions. Cairo allegedly lost between 200 and 500 soldiers as a result of the attack. Serious clashes are also taking place in the Donetsk and low-science regions where war has intensified. Russian troops are suffering heavy losses in this region as a result of the successful operations of the Ukrainian army. In recent days, many Russian soldiers in this region had to withdraw from the front. Putin does not know what to do in the face of the loss of troops and Putin's decisions on the front line are also seen as irrational. A few weeks ago, retired Russian intelligence officer, Igor Girkin, made a statement on this issue, commenting on Putin's actions in DOAs as irrational. Girkin describes Russia's continued use of many failed tactics as stupid stubbornness. Putin, who lost many soldiers in the war, also suffered a great loss when the Chechen camp in Zia was blown up, because Chechens play a very important role in the Russian-Ukrainian war against the Cairo Chechens fighting on the Russian side. There are Chechens from the Sheikh Mansour Battalion and Jihad Battalion on the Ukrainian side. Are fighting each other in this war, but the fighting on the Ukrainian side do not recognize Cairo and soldiers as Chechens. In an interview with a Turkish broadcaster, Muslim Chalo, the leader of the Sheikh Mayor Battalion, responded to a question about Chechens fighting Chechens as follows: "They are Russians and our enemies." Chalo went on to say, "We came to take revenge on Putin. I can't give you the number of soldiers, but we are 2-3 times more than when we started. The majority of the Chechen people do not like Cairo. Cairo's father was very popular with the Chechen people. Chechen people see Russian leader Putin as the murderer of Cairo's father Akhmat Cairo. Despite this, Cairo betrayed the Chechens and befriended Putin. Because Putin provides Cairo with office money and prosperity." Another unit serving in the Russian army is the Wagner Group. Wagner Group, a private security company, is owned by the famous Russian businessman, Evgeny Prigozhin, is on good terms with Russian leader Putin. But the Wagner Group, soldiers on the front line, do not get along with the Russian army and the pro-Russian Chechens. Wagner Group soldiers do not listen to Russian army commanders and constantly insult Chechens because of their race. Russian leader, Vladimir Putin, is in trouble not only with the occupation, but also with many problems within the army. Recently, a serious allegation was made against the Afghani Riko, the Na of the WAG. In Bag, where Dev war has recently intensified. Almost all of the soldiers fighting on the Russian side are affiliated with the Wagner Group. Researchers have carefully analyzed this situation and made a striking claim. Prigozhin, the owner of the Wagner Group, allegedly wants to own the underground mines NUND. That's why he's deploying many of his troops in and around UND. Although Prigozhin's friendship with Putin he has caused the deaths of many Russian soldiers in this region for his own interests. It's like Putin not backing down from his decision to invade for his own political career. The Russian leader is not given up on his decision to invade Ukraine, but he's now cornered because the aids provided to Ukraine by Western and European countries has strengthened. Why Ukraine? Consider. Russia, on the other hand, has received passive thousands of sanctions from Western and European countries. In the first month of the war, Russia received over 6,000 sanctions, making it the most sanctioned country in the history of the world. Along with the sanctions, Putin is also experiencing many problems in terms of military personnel and equip. Russia has abandoned many fronts due to sanctions and the losses it suffered during preoccupation. Russia is said to have withdrawn from 60% of de-occupied territories. The number of military equipment and personnel that Russia has lost since the beginning of the occupation is as follows: 112,470 soldiers, including true bosses, 3,084 tanks, 6,154 armored combat vehicle, 2073 artillery systems, 434 reactive spread fire systems, 217 air defense systems, 285 aircrafts, 275 helicopters, 4,817 automotive and tank equipment, 17 military ships and boats, 723 cruise missiles, 1,860 unmanned Ontario vehicle, 183 special machines for operational tactical missile systems backed into a corner. Putin has been forced to try different scenarios. One of them has been frequent calls for negotiations. Putin has been calling for negotiations in order to get UE to accept the idea of invasion. Ukraine, on the other hand, has repeatedly stated that there will be no such negotiations. For this reasons, Putin's calls for negotiations are interpreted by many commentators as buying time due to the loss of ammunition and soldiers at the front. Putin's other plan to prevent the loss of soldiers and ammunition is to ask for help. In the first 10 months of the war, Russian leader Putin did not ask for help from almost any. But Russian and its army are now exhausted. That's why Putin met with his Belarusian and Chinese counterparts in the last month of 2022. After these meetings, many media outlets reported that Putin is exhausted and is holding talks to ask for help. These comments were correct because a few days after the talks, Basian, President Alexander Lukashenko organized a meeting saying, "I want to respond to all kinds of rumors in society, and especially on the internet. If you want peace, prepare for war. I did not invent it and neither did you." After these statements, activity on the Belarus-Ukraine border begun recently. Andruchenko, the spokesperson of the State Border Service of Ukraine, announced that Russian soldiers have started training on the Ukrainian-Belarusian border together with Belarusian soldier. Chinese leader, Xi Jinping did not make a statement after the meeting in 2022. The war is likely to intensify. Both countries have announced that they are preparing for a major operation. There were hundreds of clashes in the first week of the new year. We will continue to report all developments in the war. Thank you for watching the video. If you find it useful, please comment and share the video for us. It will make our channel more known. See you in the following videos. Thank you very much.